Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is Bill Olson, our trading anchor, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Getting things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are pushing higher today, with S&P futures up 0.55%, Dow futures up 0.48%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.81%. The markets are showing a lot of optimism today as investors cheer solid earnings reports and await key economic data. Treasury yields are trending lower. Bank of America and other financial stocks are climbing in U.S. pre-market after the lender posted better than expected trading revenue. Meanwhile, BlackRock said that its assets under management rose to a record $9 trillion in the first quarter. Elsewhere in markets, Bitcoin has been steady and Coinbase Global has climbed to 9.4% in pre-market following news that three funds at Cathie Wood's ARK Investment Management bought shares. Oil declined after Wednesday's surge. Over in Europe, equities climbed as electrical power firm ABB boosted its sales guidance and miners rallied. Russia markets have taken a hit as the Biden administration looked to take action against Russian individuals and entities in retaliation for alleged misconduct related to the SolarWinds hack and the U.S. election. Over in Asia, the Chinese central bank's liquidity operations signaled it's seeking to contain rising leverage, prompting declines in the nation's equities and in Hong Kong shares. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
You know, Shane, I've been watching the S&P futures all morning long, and they've been higher and steadily increasing, especially once the banks started reporting. You know, they have been in a tighter trading range than usual, but I'm expecting them to show nice gains today. Key catalyst today, very simple: earnings, economic reports. You know, we have earnings coming out from a number of the big firms, and then there's a bunch of key economic reports that are going to be released about an hour before the markets open. You know, the one thing that I'm also concerned with is, you know, Biden's, he's clearly taken steps to change the focus of America's foreign policy from Afghanistan to kind of meeting those pending challenges, you know, that are coming out of Russia and China. Oil, you know, giving back a little bit of the gains after yesterday's big surge, but I still think it's all positive. But it's everything looks good so far, Shane.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and jump into earnings to watch. Bill, you talked about how United Healthcare was going to be one of the big boys. How'd it go down?
These guys are just a juggernaut. They really are. United Healthcare, they delivered a 93-cent beat on higher revenue. Plus, they raised guidance. Bank of America, they delivered a 20-cent beat, but it was on lower revenue. But that's still positive for the banks. You see all the banks, that tide is lifting. Pepsi delivered a 9-cent beat on higher revenue. So the earnings reports that I'm seeing look pretty good so far this morning.
Any insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Well, you know, Alcoa's out this afternoon. You know, it's priced for a 5.95% move when they do release earnings. I'm just, as I'm saying, aluminum prices are at a 3-year high. Alcoa used to be a Dow stock, but with the prices of raw materials jumping, I think that you're going to see a nice little move. The option market is really pricing in a nice beat here, so I'm positive on shares of Alcoa ahead of their earnings. Bank of New York, that's ticker BK, Boy Kilo. They're priced for a 3.7% move when they release tomorrow morning. Morgan Stanley's also releasing tomorrow AM. They're priced for a 3.2% move. PNC Bank, they're priced for a 2.3% move Friday morning as well. And then kind of looking ahead to next week, you know, Coca-Cola they're looking to report the move is looking to be about 3.2%. And IBM, which is reporting Monday afternoon, they're being priced currently for a 5.8% move on their release.
Let's go ahead and move into economic reports. But what type of reports are we seeing?
You know, like at 8:30 today, Shane, we got the jobless claims. That's going to be the big one that everybody's watching. But also at 8:30, we have the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. We have the retail sales report and the Empire State Manufacturing Index. 9:15, industrial production. 10 o'clock, business inventories. At 10:30, housing market index. In terms of Fed speak, you got Atlanta's Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic speaking at 11:30. At 2 p.m. this afternoon, you have San Francisco Fed Bank President Mary Daly. And at 4 p.m., we have Cleveland Fed Bank President Loretta Mester speaking.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Thermo Fisher, ticker TMO. The company set to acquire PPD, ticker PPD, for $47.50 per share and a total cash price of $17.4 billion. Thermo Fisher share price is up 2.08%, while PPD share price has been fluctuating high 6%. In other news, Merck, ticker MRK, is discontinuing the development of its COVID-19 treatment after the experimental drug failed to help hospitalized patients. Other COVID news, a study by Oxford University found the number of people who receive blood clots after getting vaccinated with coronavirus vaccine are about the same for those who get Pfizer and Moderna vaccines as they are for those who get AstraZeneca vaccines. So according to the study, 4 in 1 million people experience clotting after getting the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine versus 5 in 1 million people for the AstraZeneca vaccine. The reality is the risk of getting clots is higher for the people who actually get COVID than it is for people who get these vaccines. Other COVID news, J&J, ticker JNJ, vaccinations pause will likely last another week because members of the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices says there's not enough information to change their advice. J&J share price is trading 0.33% lower in pre-market. News on Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM, which supplies Apple and Qualcomm chips. They topped market analysis for the quarter ending in March as global companies race to secure chip supply. So TCM saw its profits rise by 19.4% in the first quarter on strong demand for chips. Moreover, the reported profits came in at $139.7 billion, which was $4.93 billion higher than the 22 analyst estimates. News on Virgin Galactic, ticker SPCE. Shares are trading over 4% lower in pre-market today on the news that the founder, Richard Branson, sold over $150 million worth of shares in the past 3 weeks. In recent discussions, the CEO of the Virgin Galactic stated that the company needs two things to really succeed. More ships is number one. And secondly, a way to maintain those ships so that they can have a quicker turnaround between flights. In other news, Vicarious Surgical is set to go public after merging with D8 Holdings, ticker DEH, for a combined enterprise value of $1.1 billion. DEH share price is up 3.21% in pre-market. Lastly, for me, one on Kroger's, ticker KR. It's launching its newest high-tech fulfillment center next Tuesday, the first facility in the U.S. powered by Ocado Group, which is a UK-based robotics and software company. The facility will house more than 1,000 bots that will be operating on 3D grids to organize customers' orders. Kroger's share price is up 0.47% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news down into specific industry segments, into specific keywords for events that I want to see, that I want to be notified on as soon as something hits the tape. And it just is, it's a nice little way to trade. This morning my FANG alert went off on Facebook. I see that they're facing another probe because of this data leak that they had. Apparently 533 million users. Their data was leaked, and they're probably going to be facing a fine because of this. Apple, I see that Apple's CEO Tim Cook is among more than a dozen witnesses that are scheduled to speak on behalf of the company in federal court next month when their trial with Epic Games comes up over the 30% commission that Apple charges. Shopify, this is kind of interesting. This kind of hit the tape this morning. And, a number of their executives are going to be leaving the company, they're saying. So that's not a positive for the stock when you have one executive leave, but when you have multiple, yeah, that's bad. In my Dow Jones 30 alert, it went off on Johnson & Johnson EU to end AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine contracts in 2022, not this year, next year. That makes sense. Also Johnson & Johnson, as you mentioned, the Fed panel, hey, they just pushed off making a decision on the COVID vaccine. They say they need more data. They're going to approve it. There was a medical examiner from Harvard University on CNBC this morning, and what he was saying is just approve it for older adults. Approve it for older adults. Why are you waiting? It's a pandemic. So it's probably the type of advice that they're going to follow. I see McDonald's. McDonald's got a price target increase to 255 from 250 from Cowen. I think that's kind of interesting. That's ticker MCD, Michael Charlie David. I look at my option headlines, and this is kind of interesting because Dell is going to be spinning off their position in VMware, and I'm looking at the April call option implied volatility for Dell. It's at 21. May is at 24. The 52-week range here is 25 to 61. So that's interesting. And VMware, their April call implied volatility is at 22. May is at 24. 52-week range, is even tighter, 25 to 55. So let's keep an eye on those shares for that spinoff news. My guidance alert went off on Rite Aid. That's ticker RAD, Richard Apple David. Rite Aid sees Q1 revenue at between 6.1 billion to 6.3 billion. Now the consensus was 6.05 billion, so that's an uptick. They also raised, United Healthcare, that's ticker UNH, under Nancy Harold. They raised their full year outlook. They raised 2021 EPS guidance to a range of 1810 to 1860. And if you remember, previously it was 1775 to 1825. So this is a big increase. And Pepsi-Cola, ticker PEP, Paul Edward Paul, following those first quarter results that they released this morning, they have greater confidence in delivering on our, financial guidance for the full year. Greater confidence, delivering, that doesn't sound great, but, I'll take it. I'll take it. So shares of Pepsi, good, solid earnings announcement, and they're more confident going into the future for the full year. A couple of events to notice to keep on mind. Owens Corning, that's ticker OC, Oscar Charlie. They're holding a shareholders meeting today that starts at 10 a.m. PPG Industries, Paul Grace. They're hosting a shareholders meeting today that starts at 11. And then there's ticker CE, Charlie Edward. They're hosting a shareholders meeting that starts at 2 p.m. And Marvel Technologies, ticker MRVL, Michael, Richard, Victor, Larry. They're hosting their shareholders meeting after the market starts at 5 p.m. But that's what I'm seeing in my alerts this morning, Shane.
Well, let's talk about trade talk picks for today. I'm picking State Street Corp, ticker STT. This is an earnings play. They're set to release earnings report before market tomorrow morning. They got a estimated EPS of $1.35. And there's a straddler's price for a move of $3.20. So banks have been trading higher, and STT is a major player here. So this is definitely a stock that we can expect to make a little bit of a move. So this is my pick. And a second one, if I had to give you one, looking at PPD, ticker PPD, they're getting picked up, acquired by Thermo Fisher. They're already close to this 47.50 that they're being bought at, maybe a little bit under that. They're at $45.80. So they can move as high as $47.50, which is the price they're being bought at. So I think we can expect there's a possibility they might move a little bit more. So what I would do, I would just watch them in the morning. If they can go lower, if they can get down back to $43 where they ended up closing yesterday, I think it'd be worth to get in and see it go back up again and just a little bit more, back up to $46, up to $47. So this is one I'm keeping my eyes open on. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
I'm going to go with Coca-Cola, ticker KO. Kilo Oscar. Earnings are coming out Monday. I think we're going to start seeing some relatively volatility. You saw Pepsi's number. The snack foods business is strong. I'm watching Pepsi real closely here. Want to get in under 53. And I think you're going to be able to see, a 1% move or $1 move, in a short period of time with Coca-Cola. So I'm positive on Coca-Cola right now.
Well, moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that will be moving the stocks today. Let's get right into it. So, Bill, looking at our news for alerts, seeing them streaming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
GSK, Grace Sam Kelo, hedge fund, Elliott Management has built a significant position in the UK drug maker. GSK, Grace Sam Kelo.
Home Depot, ticker HD, they have opened three new distribution centers across Florida.
New York manufacturing activity expands in April at the fastest pace in more than 3 years.
IBM, ticker IBM, has reached an agreement to acquire MyInvenio, which is a process mining software company.
U.S. jobless claims down 193 to 576K in the week of April 10th.
Scalar, ticker ZS, is set to acquire Truststone.
March retail sales, excluding autos, is up 8.4%.
Headline on CureVac, ticker CVAC. They're expecting completing data submission to file for their COVID-19 vaccine by the end of 2021. In second quarter of 2021.
Allstate, ticker ALL, Apple Larry. Allstate estimated pre-tax catastrophic losses for March were $252 million.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm saying.
Same here. So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. But traders, keep in mind, you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Wednesday. I had BlackRock, ticker BLK. It opened at $799.53 and went up as high as $810.72 before gradually trickling back down to $801.07. So there was some time to make as high as a 1.39% gain on this one. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, I did Boeing. Stock opened up at $255.32. And, because of as I was saying, because of all the sales production figures that came out, this stock was going to run. And sure enough, it did. It hit a high of $258.37. That was a $3 positive swing move on the stock. So, yeah, it beat it. It settled back down. You got earnings coming out at the end of the month. But, Boeing's really seems to be getting their engines starting, and it's really getting preparing to take flight. So Boeing did well for me yesterday.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.